All right. Here we are continuing where we left off at the Qibla Wall, the main Awan at the Madrasa Mosque, Mausoleum for the complex of the Sultan Hassan in Cairo, Egypt. And I think what is the most obviously different about this is the decorative color and the um, geometric designs around the arch for the niche here. You can see this is facing Mecca, and this is built for the speaker to speak for Friday night service. All right, and we are in Idemay, and we're looking at the Sinan Mosque of Salim in Turkey, and the Salim Mosque is the most important at the same time famous historical monument to and I'm not saying this right, Edirne, a city located in Europe, in the European part of Turkey. And this is an Ottoman imperial mosque designed by the Mimar Sinan. And you'll see artwork by him, calligraphy by him. He was the most distinguished architect of the Ottoman Empire, responsible for erection of more than 300 buildings, including bridges, madrasas, mosques. And this mosque was constructed between 1565 and 1574. It has a dome, it has muqarnas, it has squinches, and it has pier and beams. Okay, so here's a word about minarets. And we've looked at a number of buildings with minarets, and this particular one has some very tall ones. They have a base to hold them up. They have an internal staircase. They have a gallery at the top, which the muezzins call people to prayer. And the gallery is often covered with canopies to protect the muezzins from the weather. These are very thin soaring minarets. It's inspired by the Hagia Sophia, which you can see down below that, but centrally planned as a part of the building, and part of this includes a school, hospital, and a library. All right, this is one of the more famous artworks by Sunin. It's an illuminated tughra for Suleiman the Magnificent from Constantinople or Istanbul, Turkey. It's ink, paint, and gold on paper. This is the Sinan interior of the Mosque of Salim. There's the plan for it, and then you can see the central part here of the plan repeated there. All right, so now we're going to Esfanahan or Kasanan, and this is the Mosque of Esfanahan, Iran. And look at the gorgeous mosaic on the outside of this. That the architecture almost looks contemporary. This is the 11th to 17th century. So we have definitely borrowed from this mosque and a plan for this mosque into some of our postmodern architecture. That there's where it looks like. Here is its plan. Notice all the hypostyle columns throughout the whole entire thing. It is enormous. All the decorative writing and calligraphy and everything else all around the mihrab. It's a semicircular niche here on a Qibla wall. This possibly honors where Muhammad stood. leading communal worship. It is just incredibly decorative. That how could you not like that? That now look at this inside. Those colors are just absolutely gorgeous. All right, now we're on the Caspian Sea at Dabal, and we're looking at a fragment of a textile weaving from Sandrana near Bukhara, Uzbekistan, from the 8th century. It's silk. So this is woven one thread at a time, designed one thread at a time. So some of the weavings are done on large looms, and then if it's a rug, they're knotted and cut. Some of them are woven and stayed uncut. So it depends on whether it is a tapestry or a rug. This is a carpet, so this means that as it's woven in, a knot is tied for each color and thread, and then it's cut. So this is a carpet from the funerary mosque of Shaykh Safiuddin. And look at this beautiful calligraphy of the Quran page here. All right, the original pieces are done on vellum, and what is unusual about vellum, and vellum was so rare at the time, is if there was a problem or a mistake, they would scrape all the ink off and start again. And so sometimes on pieces, then you'll see a shadow, and I kind of wonder if that's not what's happening here, that you see that this piece of vellum was scraped back with the knife and then written on again, and you see the ink coming back through the vellum. This is Al-Kahf, or the cave. You see the golden ink. Definitely parallels the medieval manuscripts. This is called the Blue Quran. It's from Tunisia at 9th to mid-10th century, and it's ink and gold and silver on a blue dyed vellum. So the idea of the calligraphy here, because it's done with a reed pen, it is impossible for the ink to go very far, but to be such an artist that it looks like each letter, each part of the calligraphy is done with one stroke. So you can see this incredible writing. This is the Pyaxis of Al-Mughara from Medina al-Zahara near Cordoba, Spain, and this is ivory. Notice again, we're dealing with organic, living type decorative carving of living things. This is Suleiman Ur in the form of a bird. This is brass and silver with copper inlay. So one of the things that they have, that they're so fond of color, that the metal would not be enough in carving into the metal, so they've inlaid more than one precious metal into the surface. So color and surface and decoration is definitely important, and I think that's just absolutely a gorgeous piece of inlaid metal. This is the Maqsood of Kashan. This is a carpet for the funerary mosque of Shayah. I'm not even going to say it right now. But again, this is a carpet. So you have a giant loom which you thread the warp on, and then you go back and forth every thread and tie a knot. And then you're patting those knots down with a knife and cutting it off with a knife. I've watched them do this. This is quite incredible. That here is a mihrab from Madrasa in Afghanistan, Iran, and this is a glazed mosaic. So originally ceramic tile mosaic, and you can see the Quran written around the outside. And look at this minaret. Isn't that incredible? That is unbelievably beautiful. But all right, this is Tabriz. Here is calligraphy. It's in a number of different scripts. The Arabic alphabet has 28 letters from 17 different shapes written from right to left. The Arabic numbers are written from left to right. And Kuhif uses the official text, and it's traditional for the Quran. All right, so now we're looking at book illumination. They were commissioned by large workshops. They produce copies of famous literary works, including histories and the Quran. And there's a collaboration between calligraphers and artists. So the difference that you see between this is if you're telling a historical story about people, then you actually see people in some of them. This is from Tabriz, Iran. It's 1525, ink, watercolor, and gold on paper. Sultan Muhammad. Hushang discovers a fire. The seduction of Yusuf. The portrait of Karushu. So if you see something like this, then you know that it is more political, governmental, or wealthy parties involved rather than involved with the religious beliefs. I think this is really interesting along here how trees and everything are added. Okay, we're going to um, quit for right now.